Hi there, I'm sitting right in front of your text on shopping centers, which I really like, but as you can see, there are many marks on the text. That shows that there's still certain difficulties that we have to deal with. First of all, what about the spelling of with? I have kept insisting that you should remove these spelling mistakes from your writing because they get really entrenched otherwise if you don't do it. Okay, many people disagree with the idea of the opening of shopping areas near their neighborhood. From the logical perspective, it's always best to keep the same type of number. That is, for example, if you talk about people in the plural and then you refer to their neighborhood, well, in this case, then we should use an S so that everything remains in the plural. Many people agree with the idea of the opening of shopping areas near their neighborhoods. But in the following text, I will explain why they should change their minds, right? It's the same thing. We must try to be logical. If we talk about people in the plural, let's pluralize all the words that relate to them. And summarize is the wrong spelling because you need an A. Oh, okay. To begin with, same thing. Once again, begin spelled incorrectly and with spelled incorrectly. I'm very sorry, but you still you do have to do something about this. And this partly happens because you failed to watch my previous video with comments, because there I was very emphatic about not letting these mistakes take place anymore. There's a danger in that they might become so fixed that you won't be able to remove them in the future, right? Same thing as with the Spanish word that you keep using, negate. Do not use negate. Say deny. Well, having them all near of, there's no need for this of. It's near our homes. In the second place, this is like a fixed structure. The construction, something happened here. The construction shopping centers, I guess you skipped an off there. The construction of shopping centers not only make. What's the problem with this verb here? The agreement again, right? Because what is the subject of make? What make the area look more aesthetic? Well, it's actually the construction of shopping centers. And because the construction here is singular, the verb has to take an S, as in the third person singular. The construction of shopping centers makes the area look more, etc. Okay? Then this word vantage, it exists in English, but it has a different meaning. Here you mean to say advantages, right? Advantages and disadvantages. The opening near our homes brings more advantages and facilities than, right? When you compare more than, the lack of them. The lack of what? If you refer to shopping center in the singular, then them does not refer back to it. And so perhaps then we should say the opening of shopping centers near our homes brings about many more than the lack of them. All right? Well, we have removed the most obvious surface mistakes, and so I'm going to remove the marks, the highlighting marks, because now we're going to get into other comments that I made before and that explain other problems that I found in your text. Well, something that I didn't teach you before, I think, but has to do with title conventions. In general, titles capitalize main words, like, well, near is a preposition, it's not the main word. Main content words like adjectives, nouns, and verbs are typically capitalized in titles, and then titles are, as I say here in this comment, they are centered and usually written all the time, written in bold. So let's make those changes. We center the title and type it in bold. All right. In my previous video, I also mentioned that you have to either indent your paragraphs or leave one blank line in between one paragraph and the next, right? This is something that you could have done well if you had watched my video. All right, there's something here in this sentence when you say we cannot deny the save of time and work that having access to all types of products implies in our daily life. Now, save is not used as a noun, so perhaps we should sort of rephrase the entire sentence here, saying something like, we cannot deny that, I'll remove the comment so that it's easier to manipulate the sentence, that having access to all types of products and services implies saving a good deal of time and work in our daily life. All right, now it sounds English. And it's not that your sentence didn't sound English. The problem was that you were using the word save as a noun, and in fact it is used, it is a verb, and it cannot be nominalized in that sentence in that way. All right, there are simply some things that are idiomatic in one way or not in another. Having the mall near our homes means do not have, well, this is a serious structural mistake. The verb mean, with this meaning in which you're using it, you mean to say imply, is followed by an ing form of the verb. And because it is negative, well, the ing has to be preceded by the word not. So again, we have to rephrase the entire structure, and we've got to say, having the mall near our homes means not having to frequent, and then the sentence goes on. All right, in the second place, the construction of shopping centers not only makes the area look more aesthetic, well, you know, it's not very idiomatic to put it in this way. We generally say something like, some things like aesthetically pleasing would be a more idiomatic way of expressing this idea. What I'm trying to say is that we don't say a place is aesthetic in general. We say a place gives aesthetic pleasure, the place has aesthetic value or appeal or something like that. So we can say the construction of shopping centers not only makes the area, not only gives the area a more aesthetic appeal, right? Do you like this? How it sounds? All right, so let's remove the mark. But also, the project of transport and mobilization begin to be a priority. Which project are you talking about? Every time you use a noun with a definite article, the project here, it's because there's a very clear reference, referent, antecedent, something that you are referring to. In this case, what are you referring to? What project are you talking about? Perhaps you mean to say something like this. What I wrote in the comment I inserted, the government's perennial promise to improve transportation and traffic. Is that what you mean? And the idea that governments are always promising this for citizens, and they never, they never really achieve that aim, or they never fulfill their promises. So perhaps this is what you mean. And so in that case, I would talk about transport or transportation and traffic rather than mobilization. So we will write something like, but also the government's perennial promise to improve, the government's perennial promise to let's follow the main structure of the sentence. In the second place, the construction of shopping centers not only gives the area a more aesthetic appeal, but also the government's perennial promise to improve traffic, okay, begins, the promise begins to be a priority. Okay? Now let's remove this comment. So, but also the government's perennial promise to improve traffic, the project, sorry, no, this is wrong. But also the government's perennial promise to improve traffic begins to be a priority. And then you add, in order to have a faster circulation. Well, here I write in my comment the connection between the creation of shopping centers and the faster circulation, what do you mean, of vehicles? Again, you're alluding to the traffic. Is not clear. The connection is not clear. How can the construction of shopping centers improve traffic, right? Here there's a gap. Something is missing. It's not quite clear to me what your argument what is the argument, right? In general, you don't seem to have a problem with this, but in this case, well, something went wrong. So in order to have a faster circulation, in order to well, we've already said that the government's promise to improve traffic begins to be a priority. Well, perhaps here you cannot have a full paragraph in the form of a sentence. So here you would have to complete this paragraph by establishing this connection that is missing. How the construction of a shopping center can improve traffic in an area. All right. Then finally, security increases. Security guards are constantly monitoring the area. Not to mention, we say in English, and again, this is an expression that I taught you in my previous video. So again, it would have saved me the trouble of correcting it once again if you had watched the video. Not to mention the presence of security cameras. A problem with the article here. We do not need to use the definite article the when we refer to a noun in the plural form, as in this case, cameras, with a general meaning. That is to say, when we want to refer to all cameras in general, not a particular type of security cameras, all the cameras in the area. So we don't use the definite article. The presence of security cameras that are filming the 24 hours of the day. Well, here again, the problem seems to be one of development, because a full paragraph requires more than just one or two sentences, as in this paragraph. All right. Well, that's it with all the final text, with all the syntactic and lexical mistakes having been corrected. And some general feedback would be to say that, well, some mistakes, as I already said, are persistent. So do watch my videos and reread the edited versions of your previous writing, because you tend to stick to certain expressions, and in reusing them, you reuse them wrongly. If you don't remove these mistakes will stick to you forever. So please do something about them. And well, for the first time in this text, I observe a problem in the development of a supporting idea concerning this topic of the circulation of traffic. This is not common in your writing, so I am not really, I wouldn't be alarmed by this, but again, it's something to take into account and concentrate on this weakness in the next assignment. One final word on this is that we should not forget that TOEFL is an American exam, and in American English we tend to use the expression shopping mall than center. Of course, when we have to use it several times, we need to, well, to use synonyms, but the preference should be for shopping mall. All right, that's it for now.